YouTube, never lucky pulls here, match 1, Alistair with his Shadow Bodies against my SwordSoul deck. He opened Alistair, I had Ash, he had Cold by the Grave, and I had Imperm to stop his Alistair, but as you can see, he had follow-up with Ecclesia. Ecclesia searched Maximus, Maximus gets him the trap to summon Winder, and he also get the search for the negate, therefore the game was pretty much over. I had double interruption, but it didn't help. He could still go off, and yeah, I was very mad. He had a godly hand. I couldn't do anything. I summoned Vishuda. He had obviously the trap, and the trap destroys one dark monster if he summons a dark monster, and Winder is a dark monster, so I lost Vishuda. Very, very sad. And yeah, Winder prevents me to special summon from my extra deck, or in general special summon. I have only one special summon per round, and yeah, SwordSoul need a lot of special summons, so the game was pretty much over. I couldn't do anything. I had only Retire on the field, and yeah, that was it for game 1. I sided in Judgments and some other interruption cards. Game 2, I had a bad opening hand, only Ecclesia, and of course he had Ash to stop Ecclesia, and that was pretty much game. I had only to set 2. It was, I think, Imperm and Droplet. I used Imperm on his Alistair, but he had also the Wombo combo as in the first game, and yeah, that was also game. He had Maximus, so Maximus searched his trap, he can summon Winder, and yeah, you know, the shenanigans. It was pretty much hopeless for me. I couldn't do anything. I had a very bad draw. I can't remember my other cards, but the one was for sure Ecclesia, Droplet, Imperm, and I had another Ecclesia. Yes, I had another Ecclesia to summon Taya into the token, but he had also the negate in hand and negated my Taya. I could attack his Link monster, but yeah, that was it. Set 1, I think it was Imperm, a second copy. He had Terraforming and the Alistair again, and that was game. I couldn't do anything. It was just humiliating, I would say. It was very, very sad. I couldn't play Yu-Gi-Oh! I mean, I had interruptions in hand, but they were useless, and he had all the answers and all the follow-ups, and I couldn't do anything. It was a very disappointing game 1, or match 1 to say so. So yeah, I was hoping for a better matchup in the next matches. It was against Tritron. I won the die roll and opened the Emergence into Taya, banishing Emergence, getting my token, and going into Grandmaster. No interruptions from his side. Grandmaster searched me Long Yuan, and Long Yuan obviously went into Baron de Fleur, burning him for 1200, and yeah, I had also Ash in hand, one Imperm set, and I think one Blackout. He played his Ritual Search card, I played Ash, and yeah, he's cooked. I think he couldn't break my board. I had too many interruptions on the field, and that was game 1 for me. In game 2, I sided in Droll Lockbird and some other interruption hand traps. My starting hand was not that great. I had only one interruption, the Ghost Ogre in hand. He had a lot of searches and special summons to the field. I could interrupt his Mubeta play, but that was it. I couldn't do more. But it helped in game 1. He couldn't go off super hard. He had a couple of searches here and there and some summons, but nothing too crazy. None of the broken boards with free negates and interruptions and blah blah blah. He went into his Garibo. Also, his follow-up was not as strong. He could only go for Phoenix Destroyer, I guess. He summoned Anaconda with his 2 monsters on the field. And Phoenix Destroyer alone is quite manageable. With SwordSoul, you have different summons, the normal summons, some special summons if you have tennies, so you can play around Phoenix Destroyer, so lure one negate from him. But my starting hand, as I said, was not super fantastic. I had Long Yuan in hand, Vishuda, Atara, and the Ghost Ogre, plus I think some other useless cards, which didn't help me in this moment. I couldn't normal summon. I only had the special summon for Vishuda into Monk. He popped my Monk obviously with Phoenix Destroyer. I had to follow up with Long Yuan, but no Grandmaster, and it's super hard without Grandmaster. You need the search, you need the extra draw from Wii or the extra dump from Taya, and yeah, like I said, the search is super crucial. If I had, for example, Grandmaster, I would have Grandmaster plus Baron de Fleur plus, let's say, Blackout or some other interruption, like Iris the SwordSoul. So the situation would look much better, and with Baron de Fleur alone, it's impossible to win. I can negate one Nova, but yeah, he has all the follow-ups with Phoenix Destroyer, all the searches, and it's some special summons, the rituals, and yeah, Baron de Fleur without the negation, because I used the negation, is pretty much game. I can't do anything. I just watched him summoning his monsters and was thinking about my siding, what to side. Of course, the Droll Lockbird for game 3 is a must. The triple judgment also very crucial, and maybe one artifact, I don't know if it's needed, but I think I didn't side them. I only went for the Lockbirds and the judgments to side in. He as a normal summon without showing any targets for my token, so that was super horrible. It happens so rarely, but yeah, sucks, man. Never lucky pulls, never lucky draws. I had luckily the emergency teleport to go into Harpy breaks, but one Imperm or one Ash would be game. I was lucky there, quote unquote lucky. I was super annoyed, to be honest, that my draws were super bad, but at least I had one Grandmaster on the field plus one search. I searched for Blackout since I couldn't go for Long Yuan, since I don't have any targets to discard. So in total my end board was very weak, only one negate plus a double interruption. In total 3 negates / interruptions. I was hoping for him to brick, but he had a quite decent opening hand, Foolish Burial, his Delta to the grave, plus playing the Nova to special summon a monster. He summoned the Herald. I obviously negated his Herald effect with my Grandmaster, not giving him the pluses. I didn't activate my trap card when he summoned the second monster. I was a bit patient. I was waiting for him to search his ritual monster and his ritual spell card to get the right moment to destroy his monsters, because he needs monsters on the field as a targets for his ritual spell, and I was waiting for him to get the cards to the hand and then activate the trap card to clear the board so his ritual play would be stopped. And it worked out pretty nice in this game, as you can see now. He searched the ritual monster, and yeah, I activated the trap card, destroying both of his targets on the field. I sacrificed obviously my Grandmaster since the token is a worm and not a SwordSoul. Not a worm. Yeah, Grandmaster into Long Yuan and summoning the new SwordSoul guy, burning him for a lot of life points, and he had only 1k left, and yeah, that was game. Okay, match 3 was against Witcher World. It was a very long match, and my opponent was a very good player, one of the best in his locals, so it was very tough for me. But I opened up with a Vessel into Taya, banishing the shooter, getting my Grandmaster, getting the search and the dump from Taya, dumping the Tenny, and getting my Long Yuan into obviously Baron de Fleur. It's the safer route if you don't know which deck you are up against. And I had set 2, one was Emergency Teleport and one was Infinite Impermanence. I played Teleport in his turn to maybe interrupt him, but Virtual World they activate the effects only in the graveyard and in hand, so I had not an opportunity to use my Ghost Ogre. Therefore it was a useless play from my side, but yeah, now I'm educated, let's say so. And yeah, he played a lot of search cards and activated many effects, and I did not know which effect to interrupt and which not. I was lost, to be honest. I have to study this Virtual World deck for sure, or which key cards to interrupt, because maybe I made some misplays, I don't know. But he could still go off despite me having 3 negates, so very awesome deck, right? And yeah, my Ghost Ogre, like I said, was useless. It was only sitting there and waiting to be destroyed, sadly. And yeah, I had no follow-up. I used all my resources in hand, I guess. So it was Hail Mary play. If I fail to break his board, I lose. And yeah, he summoned the Stardust Warrior, he activated the effect on the field, but I couldn't chain Ghost Ogre since it was chain blocked. I was like, no, it was my only chance to activate Ghost Ogre and I couldn't because of the chain block. Yeah, very, very unfortunate. He got one draw and went into his dragon. I had negated his dragon because his dragon would summon the Crystal Synchron, which negates monster effects, so it was a mandatory interruption for sure. And yeah, he went into the Banish guy from the virtual world. I forgot his name, but the one with 2,800 attack points. And also into Gaia. He destroyed with Gaia my Ghost Ogre and could go into Zeus because one XE monster was in the battle phase. So very, very unfortunate. Ghost Ogre killed me, to say so, right? I did not know. I was expecting to use Ghost Ogre in this turn, but I had never the chance, and turned out to be Ghost Ogre killed me. He got a Zeus for free and I lost all my board. And yeah, that was pretty much game. I think I had no follow-up, or yes, one hand card, as you can see, only one card. It was a spell card. I don't know which one, to be honest, but yeah, looks very rough because he can summon his virtual world monster again in his next round, or in this round, as you can see. I had my turn. I just passed my turn, so yeah, very, very quick KO for me. I lost everything on board, and I was thinking about my siding, and yeah, I was sure to be siding the Royal Lockbirds and some other interesting cards. I decided to go first, obviously. I opened Emergence into Moi summoning my token and getting into Grandmaster getting my search into Long Yuan. And I went for the new SwordSoul Synchro guy, not the Baron de Fleur, but the Sinister Long Yuan. He can banish one special summon monster and one spell or trap card, and plus burning for life points, and it's much better than the Baron de Fleur, since I can banish one of the continuous spell or trap cards plus one of his monsters, so he can't trigger graveyard effects. So I came to the conclusion that Sinister Long Yuan is a better choice. He had a lot of extenders in hand and could go off. I had only one negate and one banish. And when I started to use my banish guy, he had obviously Gamma to negate him, and I lost my Sinister Long Yuan. So yeah, it was pretty sad. It was my secret weapon, to say so, and my secret weapon was killed by Gamma. Plus he had the buddies on board to go for the synchros. It's super annoying. So a good play from his side, not activating the Gamma on my turn, saving the Gamma and having the buddies on the field. I went into Iris the SwordSoul, since she destroys some special summon monsters from hand or from extra deck. So I thought to myself it would be a good way to use her, but I traded her for the Crystal Clear Synchron, and yeah, my board was already wiped. I had only Grandmaster on field and nothing to back up, plus my hand cards were, I think, one card or two cards, no, one card. So it was very rough. So the game was basically over. He played the Beatrice, dumped the token collector, and you know, guys, the token collector dumps on the SwordSoul deck pretty hard. And he also in Zombie World, he did not know if this card would be useful, but he sided it in, and yeah, Zombie World is pretty much useless against SwordSoul. We don't need the worm type. Only for the blackout you need to target one worm monster, but other than that it does not matter if there's zombie monsters or not. War was also against Virtual World, my weakest matchup, and I was like, no, how unlucky, can't be. And he won also the die roll. He opened up with the Surge card, having Trap on field and summoning all his monsters. My starting hand was bad. I had double Ghost Ogre, which sucks against Virtual World, plus 1 Imperm. Yeah, I was very frustrated with my opening hand. I could not stop him. He was summoning all his monsters and I was just puking inside. So yeah, just watching and seeing what he's doing. I could activate Ghost Ogre on his Stardust Warrior since he had no chain block. So a big plus point for me there. Ghost Ogre useful one time finally. But other than that, all the other summons could go off. I had only one Imperm as an additional negate. I was saving the Imperm for some nasty cards. And yeah, he summoned his Virtual World monster again to the field and went into Beatrice. I did not want him to have the dump to the grave and played my Imperm on Beatrice. But I did not know that it's a quick effect, so he could still dump the monster from the graveyard to the graveyard, and I couldn't chain Ash. So yeah, very sad. And yeah, I played Monk, and my follow-up was basically nothing. I had only the Emergency Teleport plus Vishuda, I think, in hand, and he could interrupt me with his dump monster to the graveyard. Its fact is banishing 7 cards from your graveyard as special summoning it from the graveyard to the field and flipping 1 card face down or 1 monster face down. So I couldn't go into my synchro plays, and yeah, that was basically it for me. So very good interruption from his side, and yeah, I couldn't do anything. Just Ash against his Virtual World spell card in the graveyard, but he still had a lot of follow-up. So yeah, it was quite rough. I couldn't activate Ash on the Beatrice dump since I had a chain block there. So yeah, pretty disappointing game again against the Virtual World. I was not fortunate enough to win one game so far against Virtual World. My draw was quite decent. I had Vessel, went into the Monk and was thinking about to summon, but I knew he had the trap card to destroy 1 card on the field, and I need all the monsters on the field. I can't lose any of them, and if he interrupts 1 time, I'm basically dead. I was just hoping and praying he does not activate his trap card. Maybe he does not know how my deck functions or whatsoever. So yeah, it was a little attempt to still come back to the game, but he activated the trap card and obviously destroyed all my possibilities to go off, and therefore I lost game 1. In game 2 I opened up with Vishuda into Monk, the tire, banishing Vishuda, getting my Grandmaster, searching for Long Yuan, summoning Long Yuan, going into Baron de Fleur, and he had Nibiru, and that was game. I couldn't do anything. I lost my whole board, had only the token plus 2 hand cards, 1 set, I think it was Imperm, I'm not sure. But yeah, other than that, it was pretty much over. I lost all my resources against 1 Nibiru. So yeah, very sad. The locals only 1 win and 3 losses. Hopefully my next locals will be better on Saturday. I adjusted my deck. I moved in the Droll Lockbirds into my main deck, some Ghost Bellies, and yeah, let's see.